available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone.
And we're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. I'm your host, Yusuf Estes, and we have a beautiful guest with us today. And I don't mean that just in the physical sense, although she is, but also in a very spiritual sense as well. And here she is. This is Sister Kim. Salaam alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum assalam.
MashaAllah. How is everything going there?
Everything is going good. We've had a very quiet day in the lower 70s. It looks as if our COVID cases are starting to go down just a little bit, but we might be rounding.
Well, considering you guys were number one in the United States for a while, I guess you don't mind taking a second base or third base to that, right?
Right, exactly.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. All right. Well, I've got another image for you today. I think I'll put that up there because it has your name on it as well. There's Sister Kim. Sister, we were talking yesterday about some of the things were taking place, and then last night we followed up with it after the show, and we found that there is a lot more going on than we had originally thought about. In fact, talking about the election process, etc., and there is a ceremony that's all basically rehearsed out, and everybody knows what it's going to be, that occurred yesterday. And the Vice President of the United States is also the president over the House. And so it's his duty, huh?
The Senate.
The Senate, yeah. It's his duty to read out loud what the results are of each one of the electoral votes of the states. And then it's his, a part of the process of here is just, like I said, ceremonial, is to announce who is going to be the next president and vice president. And at the same time, he's going to be announcing whether or not it's himself to be the vice president in the future. And this has always been the case, that whenever the vice president has to read it, if he's not going to be the one, he has to say that as right along with everything. And I think Mike Pence did an excellent job of that last night. But the president, it's reported that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, had asked him, or ordered him actually, to announce that the president was going to be Donald Trump. And he said, I can't do that. This is a ceremony, and it's not for me to make a judgment call. And got kind of upset with him. But the good news is that the president didn't fire him before he got to do the the ceremony anyway. Did you watch it last night?
I was catching bits and pieces of it. I don't have cable, so I pick it up off of news feeds on Facebook and such. And it was very interesting. For a person that doesn't normally watch in-house proceedings, in the House, they almost came to blows at one point.
I saw that. I did see that whenever they took their break to handle a rebuttal. What did they call it? When somebody,
I don't remember what they call it.
When he said, like, I don't agree with that. Anyway, so they had to, but they must have a senator and somebody from the Senate and somebody from the House, both have to sign the document of their rebuttal or their complaint. And none of them, they had several, but none of them had signatures. And some of them had backed out at the last minute because of what happened there at the Capitol. And by the way, they called that an act of terrorism. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did hear that. Biden was very clear in his speech that he considered this an act of terrorism.
Yeah, and along the way that Mike Pence mentioned this, if you want to, if you want to have this, I forgot what it's called, but anyway, this rebuttal, or in other words, you're not accepting it, you have to have these two signatures along with the document that states what your problem is. And if they finally got to one, and they had to take a break, and then they have this, and they broadcasted it. And I like that because we got to hear what was taking place and what their complaints were. Then today I followed it up with some documentation for over the last couple hundred years that we've had the United States of America, and they've had problems in that ceremony before. Did you know that?
I know that there has been complaints raised, but nothing really of the sort that we've seen in the past 24 hours.
Well, and one of them was that Grover Cleveland had been elected, and then when he went for re-election, there was another party at that time. They had weird names of parties too, not like the Democratic and Republican that we pretty much have today, two parties, but they had weird names of various parties at that time. And there was one called the We Don't Know or We Don't Tell or something like that. We don't know. I forgot what it was called, but that's a crazy name, And so there was one party that wanted to enforce the separation of the races, the white race to be supreme over the black race. It's totally against Islam, as you know. So they forced different states to change the electoral votes, and they actually were able to get by to do that. And to show the character of the sitting president, look at this. He and his vice president went along with that, even though they knew that this was a stacked deck. And they had asked him to comply with what they wanted to do, and he said no. He wouldn't do that. To the extent that whenever their man got in office, it was, I think, Harrison. They used Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I know about Tippecanoe and Tyler too.
Well, that was the group that wanted to replace Cleveland because he was for the improvements for the conditions of all the races, but especially for the black race, because they've been getting a raw deal ever since the Emancipation Proclamation. Anyway, so that was raining during this ceremony of the acceptance speech. Now, in other words, the President Harrison is already in, and he's accepting his role as President of the United States. But it was raining, and who held the umbrella over him so he could read his speech off the paper and not get it wet?
I mean, that's Grover Cleveland.
You're right. You're right. He had so much character. So when he ran for the next time, he got elected because we have somebody has a question here, I think. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Amir Rizvi. I'm calling from Loudoun County.
Okay,
And
yes,
I had a
yes.
comment to make, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
you have
yeah.
you have a question.
Just a comment, but I'm a school teacher.
Oh, okay.
During these times, young people, they're seeing these things and they're confused and scared, sometimes even, and angry. So we advise young people to limit their use of watching television and social media, because this just makes them more fearful. So, especially for young people during these times.
Well, I think that you're absolutely right, and I think that's a good reason for us to have discussions to talk about what's happened before, and understand that some people do have dignity and do operate within the confines of what is accepted in society. So, yeah.
Yes, so that's just my comments, yeah. So it's like a challenge for us, teaching young people. I mean, these are exceptional times, It's never happened like this, You just think it happened.
Well, it has happened. That's what I'm saying. This has happened several times in the past. I looked it up today and spent quite a long time looking through documentation of what has happened in the past and how they dealt with it. And the party that won, the Southern parties, I forgot all their weird names that they had, but they got together and they really did want to keep a separation of the races. And that's what they were working toward. And to the extent that they had actually bought and paid for certain electoral votes, and they influenced it and fudged here and there, and they made it so that their president, the one that they wanted to be president, got elected. And at the time, there was something that came about that they explored this 25th Amendment, and it had also an addendum to it that it dealt with these things. And that's what was very clear last night while we watched as the Vice President of the United States read off these different things, and the people stood up with their objections. That's what it was called, not rebuttal, objections. And they mentioned their objection, and he said if it's not in writing, with two signatures, one from at least one of the Senate and one of the House, then it's not going to happen. And it would have been in his favor as far as keeping his job if they could have got away with that. But he followed the proper etiquette, the proper ceremonial thing, and I thought that he did a beautiful job. He kept the dignity of the office, and this is something that we've been wanting to see for a long time. And yeah, I think that the more that we have, at first I didn't like the idea that we had the internet splashing everything everywhere, because we saw the negative side of it. But now that it seems like some of I read today that YouTube, the video channel, and Twitter are both working toward kind of limiting and actually censoring things that are going on. They censored what Donald Trump had done, And they also removed some of had him remove the videos so that they could turn it back on for him. But I think that being able to step up, this is one beautiful part of our government, is if as a business person I can step up without fear of taking my business away, throwing me in jail, doing torture of my family, everything. That can happen in a lot of countries, you know. But they could stand up even to the President of the United States and say, no, this doesn't work. We don't like that.
But one thing I can tell you, you know, in schools we are taught America is exceptional. You know, this just happens in other countries. No, this can happen anywhere. Mob rule, nepotism happens even in America. There's no special DNA for Americans. This can happen anywhere.
Well, brother, I don't know.
The biggest myth in education that America is an exceptional country. It's not. It's like any other country.
I take exception to what you're saying because you're painting a picture with only one color. You're painting a picture with only one color. Okay, be careful. Be careful. Let me explain why I said that. Okay, and by the way, I love you for the sake of Allah. So don't think I'm. I just would like to share with you something. You are almost right. You are almost right. We are like other countries in many ways.
Yeah.
For instance, we have a lot of human beings making decisions, and that's exactly what other countries have. Yes. And we have people who are very giving and thoughtful and would give you the shirt off their back. Yes, we do. And the other countries do too. And we have some real stinkers. And yes, other countries do too. And we have some people that will actually go out and fight against the authority of the state. And other countries do too. But let me share with you the difference. The difference, the biggest difference of all is the Constitution of the United States. And as long as these people will stick to it, we will always have the very best. And I'm saying why? Because all countries have good people. All countries have good rulers. All countries have good people in their countries, but there are always a few stinkers no matter where you go. But our Constitution prevents the supreme rulership of one person over everybody else. Nobody is the ruler of our country except God. And that's in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation under God. So we are one nation and we're a great nation, but because of God. And although this is interpreted by many people to mean a Christian nation, it doesn't say that. It says God. And we also, as Muslims, have that same right and privilege here in the United States. The rights means that it's not a privilege, it is my right, and I don't have to work for it because it's my right. But I also have privileges that go along with that. When I go to other countries, people recognize you're from the United States. Yes, sir. And they give me a certain treatment that they might not even give to some of their own people. And that's because we are recognized as the greatest of states. So don't think for a minute that we're different in that we do have bad people. But we have a majority of good people, but we have the most important thing is we have the power of rulership by the people and of the people and for the people. And that's what it says. It says that. And this is why whenever the military, the National Guard actually came out last night, they didn't open fire and shoot people. They did not do that. Although some of the rioters shot and killed, and that's now up to 4 people that are dead. Did you know that? 4 people are right now dead. because of
If I
that.
may make a correction,
What?
there's actually 5 people that passed away, one of which was a cop.
Oh, okay. Now the sister is giving us an update. It's now 5 because there's a policeman that was also killed as well. So I'd just like to mention that it's not that our president is great or not great, or the vice president, or any other particular member of Congress anywhere. No. But what is beautiful is that they're all following the Constitution, and they all mentioned it so many times last night. And some tried to twist the meaning of the Constitution, but the others said, no, it doesn't work like that. You know it. And they didn't get away with it. They did not. In the past, there have been efforts to do exactly the same thing and to take over the electoral vote. And the problem came in that one of the presidents, I was just talking about him, Grover Cleveland, he didn't object. He didn't fight them, and he stepped back. And to the extent that he congratulated the next president, and he even held the umbrella over him while it was raining so he could give his speech, the acceptance speech of the President of the United States was made under the umbrella of Grover Cleveland. And literally, when we say under, a business, it's under the umbrella of this or that, we mean it, a virtual, we don't mean virtually, we mean, what's the other word? That, in other words, not real. But, so that's a real umbrella, and he was holding it so that the guy who was not really properly elected got to replace him. And then 4 years later, the party that he represented came back to him and asked him to please come back. And he said, no, that's, and they said, no, please come back. Yeah, and he went back. Now, check this out. Think about this. When he got elected, that was like 100 years ago, all right? And when he got elected, it was in spite of the fact that they tried to smear campaign on him because he had a child, but it was born out of wedlock. He never got married at that time, so they really tried to bash him with that. But he got elected anyway by a majority, a big majority, because of his character and his good, upstanding ways. Well, they did ask him, and he did get married to his best friend's daughter. Let's remind you of the Prophet ﷺ, right? Because he married Abu Bakr's daughter.
Yes, Aisha.
And then, but his best friend passed away. All right, so then the thing was that this young lady, he's in his 50s or 60s, something like this, and he's marrying this young lady. She's only like 20, something like that. And they get married, and he gets elected. And then whenever she's going to leave, they're leaving the White House. And she's the one who told the staff of the White House, I don't want you to change. She said, when I come back in 4 years, I don't want to see anything changed in here. And they were like, huh? But actually, a surprise, he did get back. 4 years later, he did get reelected. So Grover Cleveland had 2 different shots at this, and 3 shots, and the one in the middle got corrupted, but he handled it with such dignity and such character that the people really respected that. And it's always stick to the Constitution, stick to the Constitution. Now, the Constitution for Muslims, if we stuck to it like the people of the United States have stuck to this, we would really be number 1 in the world. But we're not, because we don't stick to our Constitution. You know what our Constitution is? It can be said in one simple phrase: La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. But we don't stick to it. That's the problem. We have some very corrupt people in the very high places who don't follow that, and there's no way to implement it over them because it's in Islam, it's voluntary. It's all voluntary. You can choose to believe or not believe. You can choose to follow Islam or not follow it. You can choose to read the Quran or read the newspaper. You can choose to follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you can follow the way of a despot, a real evil ruler. You can. But in the United States, they have people that are paid by the government to enforce the government rules. No matter who your preference is, you know that, and there are enough other people out there that are doing the same thing that you can't get away with sneaking around and doing such things. And even the President of the United States got called out, and he got called down. And so there's a lot of history that maybe you don't know because you don't teach it in school. But I'll tell you what, as a teacher, you might benefit from a book. It's called The Lies My Teacher Told Me. This is written by... No, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not a joke. This is a professor... A professor who had been using the curriculum of the public schools for years, and he had always complained to the publishers. He said, this is not right, this is the wrong, this is... And like the story of Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was not a good guy. He was really bad. He horribly treated the people of the Central America and Mexico. He treated them bad.
He was a bad sailor. He was a very bad sailor.
No, he wasn't a sailor at all. No, he wasn't a sailor at all. The sailors on his 3 ships, those were 3 ships that had been taken over from Muslim Spain by the Italians. Those 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, and the Santa Maria was in bad shape, and it was, according to one report, it was sinking, and they had to keep bailing water out of it. Okay. All right. Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. There is a diary that it's called the Ship's Log. And if you ever watched any of these episodes of, what's that TV show about outer space?
Cosmos.
Star Trek. Yeah. They say ship's log, ship's log. That's real. All ships have a log. And according to the log of that trip, the first trip over, they had to have somebody on the ship who could read Arabic. You know why?
Yeah. Oh, wow. No, because the maps were in Arabic, right?
Yes, they were. Now, let me ask you a question. Before we ever get into the fact that there were Arabs and that Arabs had already been here, how about this question? And any child should ask this question. How do you have a map of any place that nobody even knows about?
Yeah.
Because if you're showing the map to the Queen at that time, Queen Isabella, you're showing her a map and you're saying, I can go over there, I can do all of this. So obviously, she had to understand that this guy doesn't believe that you're going to fall off the earth. He has a map to some place that other people have been. So, that story doesn't hold water at all. The story that I heard when I was a kid. So I recommend this book, The Lies My Teacher Told Me, and it's by his name is Lowen, 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 yes. If you look that up, you'll find that book, and there are 6 examples that he gave, 5 or 6 examples, and he's told the real story about the little girl who was about 2 years old, and she lost her hearing and her sight at the same time.
Yes.
And what was her name? Sister, do you remember the name of the little girl that was deaf and dumb, deaf and blind?
Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Helen Keller. Yes, Helen Keller.
Keller, yeah, of course. Yes, yes.
But read the real story about her relationship with the President of the United States. That's the reason I'm bringing this up. You read this and you'll be like, oh, wow. Oh, and that's 100 years ago. So we've always been just like any other country, but the difference is our Constitution, all right? And we've had insurrections before. We've had, let's face this, we had the Civil War. The worst of all kind of wars is a civil war where people are killing their own brothers and sisters and killing their own friends and killing just out of an ideal that somebody is proposing to them. And the South against the North, very much, according to a lot of people, this was really fought over whether or not you could own human beings or not.
Wow, that's incredible.
Okay, and our Constitution, the United States, doesn't provide for you owning individuals. So the states that were already in the South, they were already states and they wanted to pull out. And if they could pull out, then they will continue to have a different country here in the South. That would be a different country. Oh, okay. It's time for me to take a break. They're telling me I got to take a break. I'll take this quick break.
Thank you for that. Yeah,
thank you so much for calling in.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, please make dua for me.
Yes, make dua for me too. And yeah.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, guys, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned and stay guided with Guidance TV. And just like the pen that doesn't write, well, worthless. Don't be worthless. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Get the free app, guideus.app. To do it. Okay, guys, we are right back. Look, that didn't take very long, did it? I know, because we got a great program lined up tonight, and I just want to get back to it as quick as we can. Now, I don't remember if the sister, are you watching the show online? Can you tell me if our phone number is up there?
Our phone number is not up right now.
Okay, then that's a problem. Let me see if I can put it up. Okay, where is the phone number? Okay, that's how to contact us. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is the phone number. Let me put that up. Worship the Creator, not the creation. I always like to promote that. The bumper sticker.
It's up now.
Okay, any of our supporters, now, you got the phone number up there, so if any of our supporters would like to have one of these bumper stickers, they are free. I will mail it to you for free. Just do that. contact@guideus.tv.com. No, not .com, .tv. Sorry. Contact@guideus.tv. Got it? Get it. And we'll send it to you right away. So you can call in while we're talking and discuss any question or any topic that you might have, but we'll try to make everything easy for you to make it so that you can follow up along with us.
I have a question.
Yes, sister, go ahead.
I have seen on social media, especially today after what happened in the Capitol and stuff, that some sisters are now really concerned about their safety now that they've seen what the Trump followers are capable of doing. And go ahead and take the call.
Okay, are you sure? Well, okay, let's put that on hold for a minute. We'll. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Well, alhamdulillah, kulli hal. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you for calling. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. I just sent a text on your light ad. I had a luck to meet you on Jamaica Queens JMC Mosque. It was a Jumma
Thank you so much.
Especially brother like you, we need for this ummah. We don't have that many brothers like you. So whatever we do have, you are one of my best person, and I really ask Allah to give you a healthy life, so you
Thank
can
you.
live longer
Thank you,
and
brother.
serve the message of Allah. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. MashaAllah.
And this is one of the reasons I call. And I'm a resident of Oklahoma City. Right now, I'm living in New York. If I ever visit to Oklahoma, I will definitely go to meet you in Texas, inshallah.
Actually, we're in California now.
Oh, you were in California. Okay, so I
Yeah.
have another chance to visit California now.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Okay,
We're
thank you so
actually we
much.
have a big masjid out. We have a big masjid that we're working on here in California, and we're going to be talking about that too. So yeah,
Okay, yeah, I had also from downtown mosque, also the big one in
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in
Yeah.
Manhattan.
yes,
Yeah, I saw
That's
you. I
60,000.
see you on the ad all the time, and every time I see you, I feel like lucky because I told you that you are one of the brothers that I loved, and I talked about you, and I try to share my view about you to others.
mashallah, mashallah. Well, just make sure to share the message, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, because that's the dawah, and we
I'm
want that.
learning. I came to America and I learned 95% more than I learned about Islam in my country. I
Mashallah.
learned 95% more. I only learned 5% about Islam in my country. I wasn't in depth, but I'm really learning, and the help is you are one of my teachers also. I follow your guidance. I learn. I love the way you teach, the way you explain about the Quran, about the word of Islam, word of Muslims.
All right. Thank you so much. We have another caller trying to get through. Do you want me to take the call?
All right, absolutely. You have a wonderful evening, brothers, and jazakallah khair.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Okay. We have a wonderful call from our brother there in New York telling us, alhamdulillah, how he is enjoying and benefiting from the work that we're doing. And I hope, inshallah, that you get the rewards along with us. You can do that by sharing any of the videos that we have, sharing any of the programs that we have, sharing our websites. We have 4,112 or 17, I guess. Over 4,100 websites, all for Islam. And I don't like to put my name on them because I want people to go there because they need Islam, and I'm not trying to sell anything. So you might not know some of the websites you're on are ours, but who cares? The big thing is that you use it and spread the word. Spread the word, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The one who was calling us, if you would like to call us back, you're more than welcome. It's a 323 number, 323-926. I'm not going to say your whole number, but you can call us back, and we're happy to talk with you, inshallah. Okay, sister, regarding your question, you were asking the question about the sisters being concerned and worried about wearing their hijab when they go out into public. I understand the concern, and as a man, I've been saying this since I was a little kid, though. I'm glad I'm not a woman, because the women have the hardest jobs. They have they have the least amount of support from men. Really, that's what I saw when I was a kid. And unless something changed very drastically in the last 24 hours, I guess it's still the same today. Do you see what do you agree with what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes, I do agree, 100%.
And what I'm saying is that I'm glad I'm not a woman, especially now when I come to Islam, because I know that Islam provides for women to have the highest respect, the highest honor, the most support, and of course, the physical efforts from the man helping with washing the dishes, helping with washing the clothes, helping with everything inside the house. He is responsible, and everything outside the house. But you don't see that. And in fact, I've had cases, people come to me and the man is saying, why does she expect me to do anything? I don't have to do anything. And then I've also seen the case where men would actually make their wife go to work and bring money in, and then he takes it and then wants her to act like a slave in the house. And I said, wow, if that's Islam, I wouldn't go to it. Have you seen this?
I have heard stories of it, yes.
Well, in America, we see that and we say it's wrong, and we have protests against it. But in Islam, the women, they're supposed to have these rights anyway. But even in some countries, I saw that the mulanas or imams that they had supported these guys against the women. I don't understand it. Oh, we do have a call. Let's take that call. Salam alaikum.
You have a call.
Oh, salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam, sister. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. We enjoy listening to you every day. We just love it.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much for calling tonight. Do you have a question about any of the topics that we've touched on?
Yes, I do. I do have a lot to
Okay.
talk about what happened yesterday in general, but I want to start with focusing on one topic other than what happened yesterday.
Okay.
The Democrats, as President Trump, he declared lately about the money, COVID-19 relief, how they sent the Democrats trying, or they did send already now. By now, they sent it already. The bill that I had more than $14 million to Pakistan for gender identity programs. Now, I want to tell you, this has started here in the United States. And a lot of Muslims have been voting for Democrats. They've really been fooled about it and their agenda. And shame on Pakistan to accept this relief, because Islam and Christianity and even Judaism, they're clear about this. We have Adam and Hawa, Adam and Eve. We don't have somewhere in between. Anyways, to go back to the topic, what changed here about the law, the gay marriage that President Obama changed years ago, right after this in Lebanon and the Middle East, they tried to change the rules and the laws, and a lot of gays, they got gay rights in the Middle East in Lebanon. Now they're trying to spread it. Since they were successful to do that, they tried to persuade Oman to stop persecution of gays over there. In a lot of programs, they've been wiring money to the Middle East to change Islamic culture, to change these people's belief and change our children over there, not only here. So here, I just want to go back and just stop. This is what's happening in the Middle East. We're going to see in the next few years a lot of our brothers and sisters and children, we're going to lose them to those new modern beliefs in Islam because of these programs. I know one program here, since I moved to Oregon, it's called, one organization just came out, it's called Pool Islam. T-O-O-L, then Islam, the word Islam. Try to look it up. They're hiring a manager for these gender programs. They got their money from the Democrats. These people are funding our Muslim organizations to start out these programs. And these don't exist. They're mixing it with our religion. They're modifying the Islam. What do you think, and what do you like to say to these people? Are you going to pursue more programs or more lectures to talk about stuff like this? Are you aware of such programs already took place in the United States?
Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. First of all,
No
the movement that you're talking about, the people here in America, and we were talking about the Constitution, the people, according to the Constitution and the interpretation thereof, have the right to get married or not get married. They have the right to get married to a man and a woman, or they can get a right to have whatever they want, because the United States stops short of making laws that will affect each one of the states. They allow the states to make their own rules, all right? Then within the states, the people can choose whether or not they want to go along with a general idea of let it ride. In other words, if you don't have a rule against it, then people do it, and then the local states will pick up and say, well, okay, that's not legal. You can't do that. And then they make a law against it. And then anybody who does it after that, for instance, let's take an easy one. Suppose that the United States Constitution does not say anything about bubble gum. Nothing about bubble gum. Nothing. You can buy it, you can sell it, you can chew it, you can spit it out, you can walk on it, you can make a big bubble and put your house inside of it, or put it all inside your house. You can do whatever you want to do, but according to the United States Constitution, because the Constitution does not tell the states what to do about bubble gum. Okay, of course I'm using something that we all can relate to, really easy, even little kids. So the states, all 50 of them, have the right to make their own rules about bubblegum. So suppose that you like to sell bubblegum and you like to ship it out and do stuff, distribution. And you're in one state and you sell it to another state that's next to you. So they have a sort of a intercommerce kind of a thing going back and forth. So you can sell your bubblegum to the state next to you. But let's say on the other side of you, there's another state that doesn't allow bubble gum at all. You can't bring it in, you can't sell it, you can't chew it, you can't display it, you can't walk in it, you can't, So that state, they have the right. So they can block you from selling that over there. Now, there are many other examples that you could use, like cigarettes or pizza or whatever, but I use bubblegum because it's simple. It's also, there have been laws in certain states. Now, if the state doesn't make a law about it, the county within the state, except in the case of Louisiana. In Louisiana, they don't have counties. They have the districts there are parishes that's by the Catholic Church, all right? So this means that the counties can make by the way, the counties have somebody over each county called the high sheriff. The sheriff of each county is elected by the people, all right? And that's not by an electoral vote, that's by the popular vote. And that person, the sheriff, he has the ultimate power of that county, even over the mayor. I don't know if you know that. But only the governor can talk to, the governor of the state can talk to that sheriff about something, and then even then the sheriff can refuse to accept what the governor says. And then they go to court over it. So this layout is a far more complicated thing than you think, but yet it's simple in its concept. So that when you say that you said Republicans or Democrats? Democrats. When you say the Democrats are doing this or that or something, I already know that you've been visiting some websites that are nothing more than garbage, okay? Because they should not say that. Because anybody could do whatever it is you're talking about. They could be a Republican, they could be a Democrat, they could be without any particular affiliation of any party, and they could be any religion as well. Because I know garbage stuff when I see it on the internet, because I've been on it for the last 25 years. And we publish our own newsroom, all right? And when I see these kind of articles, I don't even go through them because I know that they have a purpose behind it that's not legitimate. Now, let's talk about the rest of what you were saying. The rest of what you were saying is very much a consideration for anybody who is in a religious position. Whether you accept it or not, this is a reality. There are people who believe that they were born in the wrong body. There are people who there are people that believe that. That's their belief. Now, whether or not I agree or disagree, this is not the subject. The subject is, do I understand where they're coming from and do they have any rights? I understand where they're coming from, and yes, they have rights. It doesn't matter what my particular preference is or isn't. What matters is that I give the people their rights. Now, in my own house, I can say what I want to say. In my own business, I can say what I want to say up to a point. Because whenever you hire people, they have rights as well. All right? Everybody has rights, but especially in Islam. So if you understand the biggest and foremost of all the things in Islam is not about being gays. It's not about eating pork. It's not about gambling. It's not even about dealing in riba or interest. What's the biggest thing in Islam? The biggest sin or mistake that anybody can make? What is it?
Like a shirk, to make a company with Allah.
Exactly. That's it. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. You got it right away. Chapter 4 of the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, the women, and it's in verse 48, and Allah says He does not, He will not forgive somebody making a partner with Him in worship. But anything, listen to this, He continues, He said anything less than that, He can forgive it. So we need to focus on what we're doing. First of all, are we putting Allah first? Or are we putting somebody's conspiracy theory first? Or what are we doing? We put Allah first, and then we look at ourselves. And then we give people their rights. That is their right. Now, they do not have, in the United States, nobody has the right to offer sex to my children or even expose them, to offer them heterosexual sex or anything, because that's against the law. In most states, now you go to the states. In most states, they have a limit like at 18 years old. But some states still have 21, and some states, like Louisiana, they used to, I don't know if they do anymore, but 16 years old for a girl. And in Oklahoma, it used to be 16 years old for a girl. And in other words, a girl 16 years old, she could get married without her parents' permission. And in Louisiana, a 16-year-old girl, she could do that, and she could also get drunk without her parents' permission. So these are states' rights, and every state, and so what I'm trying to do now is to let everybody know who's watching this program how important it is to know if you don't vote, then you don't need to argue about anything. You didn't use your voice to vote, so don't use your voice now. You follow that? If you don't vote in the elections, then you have no reason to complain.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I'm with you 100%, Sheikh. The thing is, regarding the Constitution, we're given by the First Amendment protection to our religion, to all religions. No government.
Now, listen. Whoa. Excuse me. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying is nice, but that's not what it says in the Constitution. You're talking about the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the first amendment to the Constitution, and it says, now, careful how you interpret this, because you're giving your interpretation. It says that Congress shall make no law with regard to, and then he gives you the about religion, etc. So Congress is not making the law, the United States Congress, but every state has the right to make their law about whatever it is that they want to do, because it leaves it open. So that's, you want to be careful about that.
Thanks for clarifying.
Actually, I have hold on, sister. This last few minutes here, we're about to go off the air, and I want to read this, the amendments to the Constitution, page 63. Okay, 47, 72, 63. The First Amendment right, okay? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievance. Okay, let's go back to the first one. No law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So what if somebody said, in my religion, it's okay for me to, as a man, to marry another man, or as a woman to marry another woman? That's my religion. So now do you understand? So they can say that, and they are protected by the United States government. Oh, we got to, sister, I want you to call me back tomorrow. We got to go off the air right now. They're calling me from our center and telling me we got to wrap it up because we got. But please call me back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, please. Same time, same station, okay?
Of course, I'll remind you tomorrow about the topic.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sister Kim, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Well, all right. Let's tell everybody, tune in tomorrow night and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Yeah, I love the way you say that. MashaAllah. Okay, guys, this is how you can watch. So tell everybody to tune in and stay guided with Guide Us TV.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
إن الإنسان